And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome inside Jimmy John's Field here on the USPBL YouTube channel. Tonight, the first place Utica Unicorns will battle the last place Westside Woolly Mammoths in this cross-conference matchup. My name is Leo Ortel. In a few minutes, I'll be joined by my broadcast partner and the Central Michigan University graduate, Rich Borland, for the CMU Night, Meet the Mammoths, and Friday Fireworks Spectacular game. So far this season, it has been the Utica Unicorns who have dominated the 2019 USPBL season. Managed by skip Jim Essie, and the Unicorns entered this ballgame with a 7-2 record and have been backed this season by a powerhouse offense and dominant starting pitching. On the other end, it has been a complete opposite season for the Woolly Mammoths. In his first season with the team, Mammoths manager Mark Wiedemeyer has struggled to get his team going with both hitting and pitching, as they enter the game with just a 2-7 record. One upside for the Mammoths has been the bat of their center fielder, Sonny Cortez. Cortez earned co-USPBL Player of the Week honors last week, along with Hopper's starting pitcher, Luis Contreras. In just 4 games last week, Cortez went 8 for 14 with 8 runs scored, 8 walks, and 2 runs batted in, and is currently riding a 6-game hit streak. As far as pitching goes today, the Unicorns will send their right-hander Spencer Stockton to the mound. After a strong start to the season, Stockton struggled in his last start against the Hoppers back on May 25th. In their 12-0 loss, Stockton tossed just 4 innings while giving up 10 hits, 7 earned runs, and striking out only 1 batter. Still, Stockton enters the game with 16 innings pitched, a reasonable 3.94 ERA, and 15 strikeouts. For the Mammoths, it will be Thomas Muratori making just his second start of the season. Perhaps the Mammoths' most reliable pitcher this season, Muratori has a 1.64 ERA in 11 innings pitched with 11 strikeouts. We've been told that he will be relieved later in the game by Philip Wahby, who has also had a good start to his USPBL career. So far this season, these two teams have met twice, once back on May the 11th and once on May 17th. The Unicorns have won both games and have outscored the Mammoths by an overwhelming 10-1 margin in those matchups combined. The Mammoths look to break out of their early season slump and the Unicorns look to continue their hot streak. Both teams are coming off some tough losses last week, so both teams will come out pretty hungry tonight. It should be a battle all the way until the conclusion of this game, so it looks like we're in for a good one. And now I'm going to send it over to you, Rich. You got to be pretty pumped up for this CMU night here at the ballpark.
Yeah, without a doubt, CMU graduate as of 2017. Since then, been in Utica, having a good time here at Jimmy John's Field as the broadcaster, and obviously courtesy of CMU, getting the broadcasting degree there with the sport management minor. But excited for this one. Obviously the Unicorns with a lot better start through their first 9 compared to the Westside Woolly Mammoths, as their records are polar opposites at the moment. But got to look at the positives. If you're Westside, you got one of your best arms out there in Muratori to give you the start. Remember, in his last outing, it was shortened there by rain against the Eastside Diamond Hoppers. He went through the first 3 innings, did well, but unfortunately the rain stopped him from ending up with a possible victory. He went the 3 1/3 innings, allowed 2 hits only, had 3 strikeouts to no walks, and his ERA was at 1.64. But, unfortunately, weather happens to be a factor in the month of May. But to end the month of May, we're pretty fortunate with the weather that we're having this evening. It is picture perfect here on Meet the Mammoths night, as well as, of course, CMU night here at the ballpark. But taking a look at this pitching matchup, it'll be, of course, Muratori against Spencer Stockton. Stockton, coming off of his toughest outing of the season, was dominant through his first 2 starts. And in the last outing, that was against the Eastside Diamond Hoppers back on the 25th, he went just 4 innings, allowed 6 earned runs on 10 hits, had just the 1 strikeout. Now compare that to his first 2 outings combined. In the 2 outings that he had to start the year, combined he had 12 innings, just 3 hits allowed, no earned runs, just 3 walks to 14 strikeouts. Just an overall tough day for Spencer Stockton back on the 25th, but looking to get a bounce-back start, and it's going to be a good night for him, as against the Westside Woolly Mammoths back on the 17th of May was his best outing of the year, 7 innings. Talk about a start. No earned runs, 1 hit allowed, just 1 walk to 9 strikeouts. Just an unbelievable start that we saw from Stockton in his second outing of the year. Been a lot of pitching through the first couple of weekends. We saw the offense finally start to be brought out last weekend, so we'll see if the heat is going to be on the pitchers today. But overall, on the other end of it, Muratori, he's got a 2-seam, a 4-seam that he mixes in there. Each of those pitches about 30% of the time. And then he's got the slider that he tosses in about 16%, and then the curveball that he'll throw about 14% of the time. A really good repertoire in terms of the amount of times that he throws each pitch. In terms of his pitches in total on this season, he's thrown 62% of his pitches for strikes, and on first pitches, that's something that he's going to want to work on. He's got 24 strikes on first pitches against opponents this year, but he's got 22 balls thrown against batters in their first pitch. He's given up 10 hits and 40 at-bats, but all of them have been singles, so that's a big sign there for Muratori, as he's not allowed any extra base hits on the year. And then on the opposite end of it, for the starter for the Unicorns, Spencer Stockton, he's got a 4-seam fastball that he throws 35% of the time, a changeup that he likes to mix in there a quarter of the time, a 2-seam fastball he'll mix in about a fifth of the time, and then the slider he'll throw in there about 10% of the night. On this season, he throws about 66% of his pitches for strikes with 157 of those. And then on the other end of it, talk about this for first pitches against batters. 46 first pitch strikes to just 16 first pitch balls. Wow. Something that maybe, if I'm the Westside Woolly Mammoths, take note of. Not sure if they mentioned that or noticed that, but tell you what, I'd be ready early and often against Stockton, and maybe that was something that Eastside did just last weekend. But it looks as if we're about halfway through the Westside lineup. We'll read you quickly the away team. That's Utica. It'll be Bonneke, the second baseman. Latona getting the designated hitter role tonight in the 2-hole. Batting third, the first baseman, number 0, Larry Mccabe. Dan Elliott is in right field tonight, batting cleanup. Batting fifth, the third baseman, number 10, Colin Rideout. Batting sixth, the left fielder, number 1, Cole Lee Curry. Batting in the 7th spot, the center fielder this evening, Coleman Poge. Batting 8th, doing the catching this evening, number 40, Austin Maltby. And then rounding out the Utica roster is the shortstop, number 13, Adrian Guzman. So quickly, as we're about to send it down to the national anthem, Ryan Rivera, the left fielder, be leading off for Westside. Ryan Dobson, the shortstop, batting second. Sonny Cortez, the co-player of the week last week, alongside the Eastside Diamond Hoppers' Pat Adams. He's batting third. Ethan Whisker, batting cleanup this evening. Jake Barbie, batting fifth. Jake Pulshan, the first baseman, batting seventh as the designated hitter tonight. That'll be Stephen Wells Jr. Batting eighth, the second baseman, number 10, Javon Shelby, and it'll be Steve Pasquale, the third baseman, rounding out the West Side lineup. So we'll send it down to the home plate area where we have our anthem singers ready to get going in this one, and then we'll bring you back up to the booth for first pitch. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel.
At this time, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise, remove your hats. Veterans and active military may keep your hats on while rendering the hand salute as we honor America and our military with the singing of our national anthem, sponsored by the Detroit Medical Center DMC and performed today by the Shelby Junior High Choir.
Officially welcome back into the broadcast booth, ladies and gentlemen. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you as always. Let's meet the Mammoths night at Jimmy John's Field, also CMU night. As if any Chippewas are listening, I say fire up with you as we are getting ready here for baseball at Jimmy John's Field. It'll be the Utica Unicorns sitting at 7-2 against the 2-7 Westside Woolly Mammoths. We've talked a little bit about the pitching between Muratory and Stockton, the starters for tonight's contest. Muratory getting just his second start, as it is his 6th appearance on the season for Westside. He's got a 1.64 ERA through those first couple of outings. 11 innings under his belt, just 2 earned runs on the 10 hits. But like I mentioned in the pregame there, Leo, just all singles there. No extra base hits allowed from Muratory, as he's allowed 2 earned runs, 3 walks to 11 strikeouts. Batters getting a hit every 4th time around, as they're hitting .250 against him on the season. But Leo, going into this matchup, what can the fans be looking for as the Mammoths try to turn their season around? Meanwhile, the Unicorns trying to bounce back after having not a normal weekend for them, as they did have a loss.
Yeah, it has been tough recently for both teams. Like you said, the loss for the Unicorns last week, and also the Mammoths coming off a couple of tough ones last week as well, but just not the start to the season that they've wanted to. But Thomas Muratory gives them a good chance out there. However, the Unicorns have seen him a few times this season, but Muratory has been pretty good. 5 2/3 total in 3 appearances against the Unicorns, all coming out of relief. Just 6 hits given up, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. So he has been good against the Unicorns, but we've seen a few pitchers that were dominant towards the starting point of this season. After some lineups have seen them a few times, we've seen them get hit around a bit as the season moves on. Obviously, guys getting to see more live pitching as this young season continues on. So it'll be interesting to see how Muratory fares, not only as he starts for the first time against the Unicorns, but as he pitches against them for the 4th time this year.
As we get ready for first pitch, Muratory getting things going. The first pitch, fastball missing low. Good eye there from Bonneke. First pitch at 7:03 tonight. It is a gorgeous 81 degrees and sunny here at Jimmy John's Field.
Yeah, perfect weather here for baseball. Kyle Bonneke, 0 for 4 last game, which was against the Hoppers, but hitting .257 this year, a .366 on-base percentage, 1 home run, and 5 RBIs. 2 ball and no strike count here to Bonneke. Oh, loses the bat on that one. Kind of out in front of that 2-0 offering from Muratory. Now he's throwing some pine tar on that bat just to get better grip on it. But Muratory, not a guy that will walk a ton of batters. Just 11 innings pitched this season, just 3 walks and 11 strikeouts, so pretty good walk to strikeout ratio for the Mammoths right-hander. Play resumes, and the 2-1 pitch inside it hit him. Looks like it may have caught his foot there. So hit by pitch there for Kyle Bonneke. Doesn't come in with the highest average, but that .366 on base percentage mark, that's why he's hitting at the top of this Unicorns lineup. And the Unicorns have been a team that have done damage offensively quite a bit this year. .256 team average, which could be a little bit higher, but 8 home runs and 44 RBIs. Both marks lead the league, as this one is sent into center field by Jimmy Latona. Falls in for a base hit. That's a quick hit there for Latona. Good start for the Unicorns. 2 men on in the first 2 batters that we have seen. So the Unicorns going with 2 guys that maybe don't have the highest batting averages at the top of their lineup, but Bonneke, .366 on base coming in, and Latona, .346. 2 guys that get on base. And now they've got Larry Mccabe up, who has been a good run producer so far for Utica this season. 1 home run and 4 RBIs.
So Mccabe standing in, was over 3 on Saturday against Eastside in Utica's last contest as he takes one upstairs. Has to back out of the way of that one. Not the ideal start if you're Muratori. 2 on and 2 up, and you got to deal with the 3-hole hitter in Mccabe. See what he can do here as he's already behind 1-0 in just his second start on the season. Is that 89-mile-an-hour fastball missing high and away? Tough start here for the right-hander, as we mentioned, normally the reliever, at least that's where he was to start the season. But, you know, with how things have been going, got to kind of figure out who you want in that starting rotation. He's got one of the lowest ERAs in the league, so understandable why he's getting some of the opportunity as we're seeing here over the last couple of weekends. Meanwhile, backtracking to the wall in center field, Sonny Cortez, the co-MVP there with Luis Contreras from last week, has to back up pretty much to the wall to make that catch. Nice job there for the center fielder. Can't just do it with the bat. He can do it pretty much with everything out here in between the lines as Mccabe is retired, but he does move the runners up 90 feet. So they're now sitting at second and third. Even though you get the out recorded, you do your job, get them on, get them over, and we will see if Dan Elliott can drive them in. He was over 4 in the contest on Saturday with a couple of strikeouts and a pair of flyouts. As standing in here now with 1 out, 2 men on. First pitch in the dirt, off speed at 78. Looked to be that curveball in there for ball 1. Dan Elliott on the season batting .280 for Utica. Not a bad start to the year for Elliott as he's making his 8th start in 9 games for Utica. But how about that gnarly breaking ball there? Elliott well out in front of it. Swings right through it, evens the count up at 1-1.
All right, good opportunity here for Elliott. 3 RBIs and 1 home run so far this season. Chance to drive in a pair here early on. This is the start that Utica needs after a tough offensive game against the Hoppers back on the 25th, which was their last game, that 12-0 loss. They had just 2 hits combined as a team, and the lineup struck out 12 times as a whole. So coming off a very tough offensive game, looking to turn it around.
Changeup just missing on the inside part of the plate. Good eye there from Elliott to lay off of that one. If I'm Elliott here, I think I might be taken. Yes, 3-1's a great count, but you've seen Muratori struggle a little bit to start this one. Still force him to get in there. See, that might have been ball 4.
Yeah.
Looked pretty much the exact same spot as the last pitch, but it looked as if Elliott had the aggressive approach there as he takes a cut, fouls it off in on the hands. Muratori battling back in this one. Good job there for the right-hander.
It looked to be inside. Definitely would have liked to have seen him take that with right out on deck especially.
Muratori, the offer. Elliott goes after it, swings and misses as Jake Wahby, the catcher, holds on to it. So after the first 2 reach, next 2 out, as it'll be Colin Rideout now due up for Utica. Muratori, the Mamaroneck, New York native, trying to get his longest start of the season. Mentioned came in for his first start of the year just last weekend against Eastside before it was dwindled short due to the weather. As Rideout looks at called strike 1. Looks as if we're seeing a lot more off-speed compared to the fastballs there for Muratori.
Yeah, it just seems like his fastball command early on just isn't there. It might be something that he tries to do next inning, but look for a few more off-speed pitches to Rideout during this at-bat.
This one in the dirt, gets away from Wahby with 0 hesitation. Kyle Bonneke coming in to score. That's a big miscue there for Muratori. Had the opportunity to get out of this one unscathed if he could retire Rideout, but instead, miscue there in the dirt allows Bonneke to come in to score. Latona over there to third.
Definitely not what you wanted to do there. We were just talking about his fastball command not being there, but that pitch kind of skipped in. Looked to be that breaking ball, maybe that slider. But so far, Muratori just not throwing the ball where he wants to.
The 1-1 to Rideout. Fastball back up the middle, slowly chopped. Muratori going to have to play this one on his own. Makes it as the Unicorns do get a run in the top of the first, but they strand one at third. They get the 1 run on the 1 hit. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the home half of the first we go. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. Tough start for the night for Thomas Muratori, the starting pitcher for Westside. Throws 16 pitches in the first frame, allows a hit, allows a run, but out of those 16 pitches, just 7 of them for strikes. Meanwhile, Spencer Stockton, his counterpart, getting things going early. Ryan Rivera, the left fielder, the leadoff man for Westside. First pitch swinging, hits a ground ball hard over there to the first baseman, Larry Mccabe, as Stockton having to get active to start this one. Runs down that first base line and beats Rivera to the bag. Good start there for this young man. Stockton out of Wellington, Florida, trying to get things going, and a bounce-back start after his tough day just back on the 25th of May. Went those 4 innings and allowed the 6 earned runs on the 10 hits. We found out that he was human last week. As second pitch of the day, ball 1 misses downstairs. Ryan Dobson, the batter for Westside, trying to get things going. Was 1 for 3 on Sunday against the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers before he was thrown out of that game. As Dobson ready for the 0-1. Fastball missing just high and away. Brings this count even at 1-1. Dobson on the season for Westside. Through his first, let's count them real quick. Dobson, 8 starts on the season, a .314 average, good for second on the team. This one chopped a couple of times down that third baseline, but it will not go anywhere as the count goes to 1-2. Quickly, the defense for Utica from left to right in the outfield. Cole Lee Curry in left, Coleman Poget in center, Dan Elliott out there in right. Right out at the hot corner, Guzman and Bonneke up the middle, Larry McCabe over there at first as the 1-2 pitch, 89-mile-an-hour fastball elevated. Dobson recognized it and fouled it off at the last second to keep this at-bat going.
Yeah, Dobson, like you mentioned, has played in every game, 8 games this season, riding an 8-game hitting streak. And also his 6 stolen bases do lead the league. But in general, the Mammoths have definitely shaken up their lineup.
And Dobson will go after one here. 2 up and 2 down for Stockton. Good start to this one. But the thing that Stockton's going to have to focus on is something that he's good at. We talked about it in the pregame, how he's got those 46 first pitch strikes to just 16 first pitch balls. It is so important, so valuable, and you can get ahead of the count, work on not just your fastball, but everything else you have in your rotation in that arsenal, as Cortez will be the toughest out on the night, without a doubt. Cortez batting .433, tied for the league lead. He's got 13 hits through 30 at-bats, and he came in to score 11 runs so far this season, but 8 of them were in the 3 games that they played last weekend. Unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, it really has been a great start for Cortez, who we saw towards the start of the season hitting in the 1 and 2 spot, moved into the 3rd spot, trying to get him a little bit more production. Just 3 RBIs, surprisingly, through his 8 games played, which, with that .433 average, surprising to see that he's only got 3 RBIs, but has scored quite a few times, like we said earlier. Co-player of the week with Luis Contreras, the starting pitcher for the Hoppers.
Cortez being aggressive as always. Stockton, meanwhile, touching 91 upstairs. Cortez recognizes it, fouls it off just as Dobson had before he swung and missed for a strikeout. So if I'm Cortez, I'd be ready for something off speed. Stockton throwing that slider only 10% of the time, but would not be a bad idea here as long as you don't leave it up. Instead, goes back to the fastball. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Mentioned how he throws the 4-seam 35% of the time, but then that 2-seam also 20%. So half the time, if you're a Westsider in this lineup, you're going to be seeing a fastball. So you got to be ready for it at a moment's notice. Nobody on, 2 men out. Unicorns up 1-0 as we're almost through the first inning here on Meet the Mammoths night. Spencer Stockton trying to ruin their evening. Another fastball in this at-bat. I don't know if we've seen one off-speed pitch here in this one.
That seems to really be going to that fastball. You know you're getting a strike thrower out of Spencer Stockton. Does not walk a lot of batters as that 1-2 pitch misses outside. But Cortez also, despite a ton of hits last week, did have 8 walks. So he was walked quite a few times. He's not going to really be looking for a walk today. He's going to be looking to swing the bat a little bit more so even than last week. But has been swinging the bat well, seeing the ball really well.
Cortez, and there it goes. He drops in the slider against Cortez. That's the kind of batter you need to bring it to. And he gets back-to-back strikeouts accompanied by the ground out to first. A perfect inning there for the Florida native. We're through one. At Jimmy John's Field, it's all Utica, 1-0. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the top of the second we go on Meet the Mammoths night here at Jimmy John's Field. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you as we get back into it. Curry in the game on Saturday, 1 for 3 with a single, strikeout, and a ground out. He's 0 for 1 to start this AB. Fouls off the breaking ball. Muratori delivers on the 0-1 quickly. Down in the count 0-2. Muratori not messing around, but so far on the season, Curry batting well, 345. He hasn't played in every single game, but I'll tell you what, just about 7 starts on the season. He's got 10 hits through 29 at-bats, but won't do anything on this one. Admires the 0-2 pitch, and he's rung up on strikes. 1 up and 1 down for Muratori. And I'll tell you what, if Muratori can, limit the damage, still is yet to allow an extra base hit on this season, we could be not here for a long time tonight, depending on how he does, because it looks as if Stockton's on, and against the combination of that with how the Mammoths have fared offensively this year, got to imagine the Mammoths really can't make any more mistakes out there on the field, as the Unicorns already lead it 1-0, but right on cue, Coleman Poge, first pitch swinging, hits a single into left center, as he had a just 115 batting average on the year with 3 hits and 26 at-bats, so for as well as the season's gone for Utica, it's a bright spot there for Coleman Poge, who's been struggling at the plate. A good start for him tonight in this one.
Yeah, Muratori, who wasn't really throwing as many strikes as he would have liked to in the first inning, we're seeing a pretty good aggressive approach from the Unicorns. They're not really playing to his non-strike throwing ability so far to their advantage. They're looking to swing the bats. They're not looking to draw walks. It paid off for them in the first inning. Did have that hit by pitch to Bonicki, and that single to Latona, that wild pitch, ended up scoring Kyle Bonicki, but the aggressive approach has paid off so far for the Unicorns, who had just 2 hits in their last game.
As the 1-0 to Maltby, called strike 1 by our home plate umpire, Jim Mulick, as Maltby on the season hasn't fared all that well. 5 starts. He's got 4 hits and 18 at-bats. 3 runs to his credit so far this season. There are, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Unicorns on the year that have a home run, but nobody with multi home runs so far this season. Maltby, one of the 8, is getting checked on over there at first is Poje. Poje on the season doesn't have any stolen bases or attempts so far this year, but he does play center field. He's ran down a couple of long fly balls, so you never know as Maltby admires the 1-1 breaking ball, as Muratori's starting to look like he's figuring his off-speed stuff more in this inning compared to last. 3 strikes to Curry for out number 1. Poje singled on the first pitch he saw, and he's looking sharp here against Maltby on the 1-2, fouled off at 79 miles an hour. Saw Poje trying to take second there, maybe a little hit-and-run action with 2 strikes against him. Tried to avoid a inning-ending double play there.
Yeah, that's not a bad approach. You don't have much speed out of the box with Austin Maltby, so I definitely like the call by Jim Essien.
So Poje over on first. He's trying to get into scoring position. Not if Muratori has anything to say about it. Maltby flexing that bat, but he won't get anything out of it. 88 upstairs, swung on and missed. Strikeout number 3 on the night there for Muratori, second of the inning. But it'll be Adrian Guzman's turn now, who we raved all about his defense last year, but it's sort of evening out with the offense this time around on the season so far for Guzman. He's batting .267, 8 for his first 30 on the year. As keeping tabs on Poje at first is Muratori, but Guzman with 2 runs scored. He's driven in a run with his solo shot. Overall on the season, trying to get those numbers up as everybody's trying to eventually make it out of Jimmy John's Field, as this one might stay in, and in fact it will. Jake Barbie looming underneath it, makes the catch with all that space there in foul territory. Corns are retired in the second. We head to the home half. They threaten with a single from Poje, but do not score. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through 1.5 at Jimmy John's Field. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you as always. Spencer Stockton out there for inning number 2 of work. It took him the minimum to get through his first frame as he got a ground out from Rivera and a pair of strikeouts via the swing and the miss from Dobson and Cortez. A tough 1-2 punch in that 2-3 part of the lineup. Meanwhile, Ethan Whisker, as he's trying to get his season going, looks at his second pitch of the at-bat. Evens it up at 1-1 after swinging and missing through the first. Whisker was 1 for 5 on Sunday against those Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers with a single, but so far on this season for the Hillsdale College product, it's been a not up to par season. Not bad, but not up to par for a man named Ethan Whisker. On the year, 242 average through 8 starts, 8 hits out of 33 at-bats. He's came in to score only twice, and he's only driven in 2 runs. And he's only gotten to 7 bases in total. So 1 double and 1 double and 5 single. Or let's try that again. Getting caught up in the numbers. On the season officially, 7 singles and 1 double for Whisker.
Yeah. Not something that we are normally going to see from Whisker as he grounds one to third.
Right out, shuffling a little bit, but making the play with ease, retires Whisker. 1 up and 1 down. Stockton looking really sharp. Not really any hard contact hit off of his bat. Just the 2 weak ground balls accompanied by the 2 swing and miss strikeouts.
And it really has been a tough season, not only as far as pitching for the Mammoths, but also offensively, hitting just .232 with 2 home runs and 28 runs batted in. We saw them have that really good offensive game back on Thursday the 23rd against the Beavers when they won that one by a final of 10-3 as they put up 14 hits. But since then, they have struggled tremendously offensively, put up just 2 runs the other day against the Beavers in their 9-2 loss. And really, a lot of that is due to guys like Ethan Whisker who just aren't having the season that they want to. They're not getting a lot of run production so far.
Wahby, meanwhile, was batting in the 6th spot on Sunday, trying to get something going for his team and kind of break them out of this offensive slump. They had the 10 runs in their victory just this past Thursday, a week and a day ago. It was against the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers, too, who have had a great let's try that again, as Wahby ends up getting retired there on the ground out. 2 up and quickly 2 down on a pair of ground outs. 1 to the left side now, 1 to the right. 2 up, 2 down for Stockton. He's looking sharp thus far.
And stepping up will be Jake Polchin. Kind of surprised to see him batting so low in the lineup in the 6th spot. He's hitting .300 this year with a .481 on-base percentage, 1 for 3 last game against the Beavers. Not really sure why he's hitting in the 6th spot. You'd like to see him maybe at least in the 4 or 5 spot with the way that he's been producing so far this season.
Yeah, Wahby, I mean, he's got a .385 on-base percentage. Maybe you hope that Wahby and Whisker can get on for him so there's some runners on the base pass when he gets up to the plate, but not exactly sure how many base runners we're going to be seeing in this one with the way Stockton has been pitching, as it looks as if maybe there was a little break in the action. Coley Curry having to put a baseball back out of play. Plenty of kids in attendance, as there are each and every game at Jimmy John's Field. It's a great place to take the family. As Polchin ready for the 1-1. 2-seam in on the hands at 84. Might get in the gap, the left fielder thinking about it, but it's Coleman Poge running it down with speed in center field, as that was not an easy one, but the center fielder taking charge as we head to the 3rd. Utica out in front 1-0. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through 2 at Jimmy John's Field. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. The day goes into the 3rd inning for Muratori. 26 pitches in that inning, as 16 of them were for strikes in total throughout the night. He had 2 more balls than he had strikes going into that second frame, but he did an adequate job there, as just the single from Poge reached safely as he had the 2 strikeouts and the pop out to the catcher. Bonneke, meanwhile, standing in, works the count 2-1 to start his second at-bat. Worked the 2-0 hit by pitch back in that first inning as Muratori working quickly. Bonneke trying to get on base as the leadoff hitter for the second time tonight, as he came in to score the only run of this ball game. The 3-1, fastball up and in at 87. Bonneke reaching base safely 2 out of 2 times thus far. And there's a reason he's up at the top of this lineup. Not only can he hit, but he's got a great eye up there in the left-handed batter's box, as it'll be Jimmy Latona, the New Yorker, standing in. Singled in the first. One of the 2 hits for Utica. But if I'm Muratori, I'm doing everything I can in my power to get a ground out in this situation. Latona doesn't have tons of speed out of that right side. Good eye there from him, though, as the first pitch, breaking ball, held off there by the Mercyhurst alum. Bonneke on the season, as you see Muratori step off for a hot sec there. Bonneke on the year, 1 for 2 on the base pass. Barbie having to drop, protect the baseball from getting past him on that one. It's now 2-0. Great hitters count for Latona, who does have 1 home run on the year, but he's trying to get that 200 batting average up a bit in his 7th start of the season. Muratori, the 2-0. Fastball down Broadway, swung on and missed. Healthy cut from Latona as he turns around to our home plate umpire, Jim Mulick. Asked if that one was a little bit high, but definitely close enough from our standards.
Yeah, it may have been, and kind of when you see that high pitch, your eyes will light up a little bit. You'll tend to swing those high ones, chase them a little bit more. But Latona definitely an experienced hitter. Last year in the USPBL, 291 batting average, which was good for 4th in the league, but not the season that he has wanted so far, hitting just 200, as you mentioned, Rich. But 1 for 1, 1 home run already this season, 5 runs batted in, also 4 walks. So he does have a 346 on base percentage. He has been getting on base, and that's why he's in the top of the lineup.
Yeah, I'll never forget the way that Latona ended his season. Last year is really close one over there at first. Bonneke getting as much of a lead as he can without getting caught there. As Latona, I'll never forget his line in his last 35 at-bats last year, 20 hits.
Wow.
Just silly stuff, as he was on an absolute tear to end 2018. Trying to get back into that type of scenario. Is Barbie thinking about Bonneke at first, as took another healthy lead. Latona, meanwhile, working that count 3-1. And if I'm Utica here, I'd be staying put if I'm Bonneke. As you see Muratori really thinking about him over there. They're assuming he's going to go, but the count up on the board now says 2-2. Is that what you got there, Leo?
Yeah, it was. They had 3-1, but I believe it is 2-2.
So that does make things a little bit different compared to the 3-1. Breaking ball looked good from up here, but it looked as if maybe just dropped in a tad late. So here's a situation where you got to ask assistant manager Willie Martin, who's over there at the third base box. I think for the most part, in terms of the base paths, I think that some of the Unicorns might have some type of guarantee where, I mean, the runner's called out, but the home plate umpire had given first base on the walk. So a good toss from Barbie, but Bonneke will get in there safely. Back-to-back walks for Muratori. Not an ideal scenario to be in here for Westside.
Yeah, and we saw the infield umpire did call him out on the steal. Time was just called now. Some discrepancy here, as it looks like he was maybe trying to go talk to Jim Essien over there at first, was Bonneke, and they tried to tag him. Not really sure what's going on here.
Time was called, so Bonneke thought that he was called out initially. Gary Wagenschutz, our base umpire, calling him out, but he didn't know, obviously, that
Right.
the ball was called for ball 4. He was focused on making the call at second. That's all he needed to worry about. But obviously, as soon as ball 4 was issued, the base runner got to first. That'd be Latona. Time was called. Wagon Shoots had called time, and then Bonneke ended up, stepping off the bag, thinking he was out. But in the end, Bonneke will reach base safely on the walk. And Larry Mccabe now standing in 0 for 1 with a fly out to center. As if you're Thomas Muratori, you really got to hone in here. 2 men on, nobody out. The 3-hole hitter Mccabe is up. Got to keep this ball in the ballpark as Mccabe looks at the first pitch. It's a ball missing low and away.
Yeah, Mccabe had the same situation. His first time up, he had Bonneke on second, Latona on first. He hit that deep fly out to center, almost snuck out. So we'll look for him to maybe jump on one here, but Muratori, struggling to find the strike zone, has started Mccabe off 2-0.
So Mccabe, a good eye up at the plate. Second time he's worked the 2-0 count tonight as he trying to do more than fly out to center in this one. It was a good one, though. He hit it far. Cortez caught it on the run, so Mccabe was pretty much right on it. The 2-0 fastball called strike 1. That one on the inside part of the plate. Good pitch there from Muratori, who, even if Mccabe got a good swing on it, would have been on the bad part of the bat. Probably would have ended up in a ground ball. So good job there for Mccabe to technically lay off of that one. Muratori bringing the 1-2. This time it's in the dirt. Good stop there from Barbie to keep the runners at bay.
I have to say, Mccabe definitely has the most interesting stance in the league. He's kind of open. He's got the bat wagging a little bit. See a lot of weird batting stances in the majors, but not too many here in the USPBL. Guys kind of try to keep it clean, keep it short, but kind of an interesting stance for Mccabe.
This one hit on a line into right. Ethan Whisker on the run, making the catch. Came up a little awkward after he had turned the body towards second base. As you know, Drew Kitson went down after his injury early last weekend. Not sure if, when. Hopefully Kitson will be back in action at some point this season, but hearing that it's a tough injury and we're not sure exactly when he will be back. But Mccabe is retired. Standing in here now, Dan Elliott, as he looks at called strike 1. 2 runners on, 1 man out here in this top of the third. Utica out in front 1-0 as Bonneke came in to score on a wild pitch from Muratori. Breaking ball in there for a called strike. Quickly, Dan Elliott down 0-2. You've seen a little bit of everything here if you're Elliott, so not really sure exactly what to expect. As Muratori mentioned in the pregame show, loves to even out his pitches, as that 89-mile-an-hour fastball just missing on that outside part of the plate. Good job there from Barbie on the try of the frame job, but nothing doing there.
Yeah, Elliott's already gone down swinging once. So Muratori won the battle the first time around. We'll see what happens here.
The 1-2, nasty 78-mile-an-hour curveball there from Muratori as Elliott back-to-back swing and miss Ks for the second out in the respective innings. And that's kind of how the night's gone. A tough start, but coming through when you need to with these runners on. Left 1 base runner stranded there in the first, 1 in the second. And he's trying to strand 2 more here in this third, but not if Colin Rideout has anything to say about it. Grounded out back to Muratori to end that top of the first. This one lined into right center field. Whisker trying to find it. Had a little issue, but instead slides on the backside to make the third and final out. Wasn't pretty, but the Mammoths get out of the jam. We head to the home half of the third. It remains 1-0 Utica. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We head to the home half of the third. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. Utica out in front, 1-0 through the first 2.5. It'll be the 7, 8, 9 hitters due up for Westside in this one. Stephen Wells Jr., Javon Shelby, Steve Pasquale. As the broken bat popped up into the infield. The rule is when there's something right around the mound, the pitcher's not supposed to make the catch, as the last thing you want to see is him tweak something around the rubber. But one pitch and one out. Stephen Wells Jr. is retired as Colin Rideout taking charge in the infield, catching that one right on top of the pitcher's mound as Javon Shelby standing in. He was over 2 with a pair of walks and a strikeout back on Sunday against those Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Trying to make a name for himself, a guy who was drafted out of high school, but trying to keep up here in the USPBL, making his 8th start. He gets a hit 5th% of the time, 5 hits and 25 at-bats, as the first pitch to him, missing a hair low, looked to be that slider there from Stockton. Stockton through the first 2 innings, 22 pitches, 15 for strikes, 2 strikeouts to no walks, as he's trying to get through this first time through the order without a hit. And before I can even say it, Javon Shelby gets the first knock of the night for Westside. That's a good sign there for Mark Wiedemeyer's team, as now Steve Pasquale 0 for 4 back on Sunday on the season, batting below 100, just 2 hits in 28 at-bats. A guy more known for that glove over there at the hot corner, but definitely want to have a hot streak going into the All-Star break at some point, as you, of course, know that we pick up some college players halfway through the season, as 6-4-3 double play is recorded. Almost saw a scare there as that ball thrown above Larry Mccabe's head, which says a lot. But they get out of the jam after that single from Shelby as the double play is recorded. We're through 3 at Jimmy John's Field. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through 3 at Jimmy John's Field. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. It's been a good pitching matchup through this one. Sort of tale of 2 ends, though, in terms of the success. Muratori has got 47 pitches through the first 3 innings as Coley Curry steps in for his second try of the night from the left side. 0 for 1 with a looking strikeout on 3 pitches. But Muratori going on pitch number 50 on the night already. This one up and away. Gives Curry the 2-1 count, but comparing him to Stockton, Stockton just had a 4-pitch bottom of the third. He allowed the single to Shelby, but him, Wells Jr., and Steve Pasquale taking just 4 pitches to retire as Pasquale grounded out into that inning-ending double play. Curry, meanwhile, looking at now a 3-1 count as Stockton's at just 26 through 3 as Muratori trying to have a perfect inning for the first time tonight, but not if Curry has anything to say about it, and he won't, as that is now walk number 3 in just the last inning and a half.
Yeah, Muratori has had 2 kind of tough innings back in the first. Started off with leadoff base runners, also did the same in the third. But the only damage that has been done was on that wild pitch when Colin Rideout was up to the plate. Kyle Banicki scored from third on that wild pitch. But last inning, walked the first 2 batters and then able to get 3 outs in a row. So despite maybe not the command that he wants, Muratori is limiting the damage of the Unicorns, who are a very good hitting team.
So here comes Coleman Poge, who's got one of the 2 hits for Utica tonight. That single that he had back in the second. First pitch looks at ball 1 to begin this at bat. Poge on the season batting just the 115 like we had mentioned, but having a good start to this one. See if he can continue it in this top of the fourth. Utica trying to add on to their 1-0 lead that they got back in the first. Overall, haven't really seen anybody break out for anything crazy as Jake Barbie making his way out to talk with his battery mate, Muratori. But so far, Latona, he's reached base safely twice with a single and a walk. We obviously know Bonneke has reached so far today on walk and a hit by pitch. And he's came in to score the only run. But at the moment, not seeing anybody stand out for anything. See if Poge can get the first 2 hit tonight. As he stands in ready now with the 2-0. Over there on first is Curry. Cole Curry in 2019 does not have a stolen base attempt just yet. As this one, fastball at 87, called strike 1 in the outer third.
Great move by Jake Barbie just to go out there, calm Muratori down. We do see some action right now in the Westside pen as Philip Wahby is getting loose. We heard before the game that he would be coming in to relieve Muratori, so Wahby is up and getting ready right now.
Yeah, kind of that split start there for these 2 gentlemen as Poge on the 2-1 fouls one up and out of play. Talked about how Muratori had just the 1 start under his belt. Meanwhile, Philip Wahby on the year, he's got 2 starts and 1 relief appearance. His only relief outing, though, was back on Monday, on Memorial Day, where he got rung up for 4 earned runs on 4 hits. So the only relief outing on the year for Wahby has not been a good one. Meanwhile, Poge's going to get that second hit of the day as rounding second. Headed to third is that base runner, Curry, and then over there at second, Poge, all aggressive, trying to make an extra base hit out of it. Ends up getting rung up out there at second base for out number 2. So a lot happening there on that play. I like the aggressiveness, but in the end, Poge's going to get his second single of the evening. A good job there from Whisker to recover and get that baseball in to second base via the 9-6 putout for out number 1. Or for out number 1, yes.
Yeah, and it looks like Mark Wadermeyer is going to make the pitching change here. Philip Wahby will enter this game. That is good that the Unicorns were able to advance the runner to third. They obviously did not have the scouting report on Whisker. Maybe not the cleanest right fielder out there, but does have quite the arm. Was used as a pitcher quite a bit at Hillsdale College. But anyway, it will be a pitching change here, and we'll take a break and be back shortly on the USPBL YouTube channel.
We bring you back into this top of the fourth inning. Looks like we might have a run come in here. Is nothing doing there for the man at third, Steve Pasquale. That is a tough start on the day for Philip Wahby, and it actually changes up the final line for Thomas Muratori as the RBI infield single brings in the second run of the ball game. Coming in to score is Cole Lee Curry. And with that, as Austin Maltby gets his first hit on the day, drives in the run. That was probably the easiest RBI I've seen in a minute as the infield single drives in the second run of the game. Officially, Thomas Muratori's day ends 3 1/3, allowed the now 2 earned runs on 3 hits. Ended up with 3 walks in just the last 2 frames, but did have 4 strikeouts. None in this inning, though, as it'll be Philip Wahby out there for Westside, making his now 4th outing. Take that back, on the season. Yes, his 4th outing on the year. This ball, though, lined into center field as Adrian Guzman continues to swing a hot bat. Not a good sign for Westside as 2 men up against Wahby and 2 men on with singles. But getting back to Wahby on the season for Westside, does have a 2-0 record through 12 innings, 14 strikeouts with just 4 walks allowed. His ERA sits at 3.75. This is just first outing of the season against Utica. Through his first 3 stints on the season, he's got 2 starts, one against Diamond Hoppers, once against the Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. Combined in his 2 starts, 10 innings, just the 1 earned run on just 5 hits, with, count 'em, 3 walks to 13 strikeouts. But then, in his last outing, it was his first relief effort of the season as Bonneke looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Wahby back in the action. The breaking pitch at 81 swoops underneath the swinging bat of Bonneke. But in his relief outing just on Monday, had the 2 innings, allowed the 4 earned runs on 4 hits, just the 1 walk and 1 strikeout, but 2 doubles and a home run. The extra base hits were flying off the bats of the Beavers on Memorial Day as the 1-1 fought off to the left side over there to the assistant manager in Willie Martin, former player here in Utica, as Bonneke quickly down in this one, 1-2. But yeah, Willie Martin, now that we have a second, was a former first baseman in DH for Utica. Played at Liberty University in Mount Olive out there in North Carolina. Had a stellar batting average of .342. As we get back into the action, Bonneke ready for the 1-2. Hit to the left side, and he finds a hole. Rounding third. On the third, or on the throw, 3 singles in a row, giving the Unicorns now a 3-0 lead, and the hits just keep on coming here against Philip Wahby.
Yeah, great move by Jim Essien to put Bonneke at the top of this lineup, his 3rd time on base now, as he was hit by that pitch back in the first, a walk in the 3rd, and now finally an RBI single for Bonneke. Entered the game with just a .257 batting average and 0 for 4 against the Hoppers last game back on the 25th, but that's exactly what you need out of your leadoff man. He has been the offensive catalyst so far, already with that 1 run scored. Now 2nd and 3rd for Latona.
You see the infield now creeping in as Latona looks at a breaking ball on the first pitch. So Wahby trying to catch the right-hander off guard. Won't do it here. So now you're down in the count 1-0. And you just threw a breaking ball. You have to, or at least you think you got to be throwing a fastball. So you got to be careful if you're Latona. But, of course, trying to play the card of the magician, Wahby brings it back with the breaking ball. So finds a strike zone with it, and Latona freezes on the pitch.
And Wahby brings in a lot of experience. Played with the Toronto Blue Jays organization for 5 years, a 4.15 ERA, 234 and a 3rd innings pitched. So he's had a ton of professional experience. Hard to guess exactly what he's going to do, and it's the same way for the hitters. You know, he's down in the count, but deals in a breaking ball to find the strike zone after the first pitch, off-speed pitch offering, and it's paid off for him, he's got Latona down 1-2.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You just got to be sure you don't want to hang one here against Latona, who does have a home run and had one of the top amount of home runs for the Unicorns last year. The 1-2. Fastball called strike 3. Latona can't believe it, as that'll ring up the Unicorns for out number 2 here in this top of the 4th. So Latona on the day. He's finally retired already in his 3rd plate appearance here in just the top of the 4th.
Yeah, and that's one that, it could go either way, but with 2 strikes, you got to be swinging at that one. That's a good job by Wahby to attack the inside part of the strike zone. And now it will be Larry Mccabe with the chance to drive in a pair here, 2nd and 3rd still. Mccabe's hit a couple of balls hard, a deep fly out to center field back in the 1st, and then that hard line out to right field. Big swing and a miss there.
He was trying to take that one over the right field fence as he drops down to a knee. But yes, if your name is Sonny Cortez or Ethan Whisker, you definitely got to be on your toes as you take a look at that flag out in center field now. It is blowing directly to center field. So you got to be careful, keep this ball low, and don't want to let Mccabe get a hold of it as the fastball at 85 misses up and away. Mentioned Mccabe on the season for Utica, batting .269 on the year through his first 7 starts. 7 hits and 26 at-bats, now 7 for 28 with the 2 flyouts tonight. But he does have 2 extra base hits, as this one he's well out in front of. Another off-speed pitch there for Wahby. I would stick to it if I'm him, because that's what's seeming to get more swing and misses compared to the fastballs that are shooting into the gaps in the outfield.
It seems like his off-speed stuff is definitely working. Mccabe was sitting fastball twice already in this at-bat.
I'll tell you what, Wahby, that bread and butter, he loves to go to the changeup. Wouldn't be shocked to see it here. Instead, the fastball just enough to be outside on that 1-2 pitch. But if I'm him, I'm going right back to that changeup here on the 2-2, maybe a little inside to have it drop right underneath the hands of Mccabe.
Yeah, you got to go back to the off-speed pitch there. Tried him with the fastball outside and missed it. Got the generous call last at-bat with Latona going down. Looks like he went with the changeup at 85. Maybe hung it a little bit more than he would have liked to, but just fouled off. Mccabe just trying to stay alive.
So he stays alive with that one. Works the now 5-pitch at-bat. Still have that base open at first, but Wahby already with a hefty pitch count, allowing 3 straight singles before he got Latona to look at one for the second out of the inning. Wahby taking his time. The 2-2 pitch, fastball outside corner. That one touching 93 this time.
Wow.
It's the fastest we've seen from Wahby in this outing, but a good job of Mccabe. Doesn't matter how fast you throw it if it isn't a strike, so better eye there from number 24 tonight. It says 0 up on the roster and up on the scoreboard, but Mccabe supporting the number 24 this evening. Wahby trying to get out of this jam as Utica already leads it 3-0, and as the changeup at 84, it's not going to get it done as that loads the bases with the walk. Second walk of the inning. First from Wahby, as now the 8th hitter of the inning will come up to the plate, and Dan Elliott.
And that's a great at-bat there for Mccabe. Took a couple of bad hacks early in the at-bat, but seemed to really be seeing the ball well later in that at-bat. Able to work the count, foul off a few pitches, and rewarded with the walk to load him up for Dan Elliott. Dangerous hitter.
So bases loaded, nowhere to put him if you're Wahby. Elliott already with 1 home run on the season. A big fly ball out there to left, but it's well foul. Tough day thus far for Elliott with 2 swing and miss strikeouts. And he had coming off of that 2 strikeout affair on Saturday as well. So 4 strikeouts in his last 6 at-bats. No better opportunity than the present with bases loaded, but quickly down in this one, 0-2. And if you're Wahby, maybe go back to that upstairs fastball out of the zone, force Elliott to swing after another pitch and get his 3rd straight swing and miss strikeout.
He was late on that fastball, which he painted on the outside corner, so maybe he will try to go up and in here. Would not be a bad call for Wahby.
So a good try there from Elliott, trying to get Wahby out of his rhythm as he calls time down 0-2, as he's trying to stay up in that batter's box a little bit longer than his previous 2 at-bats. Guzman at 3rd, Bonneke at 2nd, Mccabe at 1st. Elliott trying to drive him in, won't do it here. It's foul down the 0-2.
And Elliott was definitely looking for the fastball there, which you don't want to be guessing when you're down in the count, especially with 2 strikes, 0-2 count on Elliott. But able to foul that one off. He's got another shot at it here.
And if I'm Wahby, you just saw him well out in front of that pitch. No reason to not go back to the changeup inside. Worst case scenario, he hits it hard and about 20 feet foul. The 0-2. Strike 3 right down Broadway at 93 miles an hour. Elliott's completely frozen, but the Unicorns tally for 2 more in the top of the 4th. Strandham loaded as they lead it 3-0. We head to the home half of the 4th. We'll see if the Mammoths can get their just second hit of the night. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the home half of the 4th we go. Spencer Stockton coming off of one of his best innings of work we've ever seen. Just 4 pitches in that frame. Got a pop out to third off the bat of Stephen Wells Jr. Javon Shelby with the first knock of the day for Westside. He singled, but then Steve Pasquale on the first pitch that he saw grounded out into the inning-ending double play, and that's where we stand as the Mammoths have batted through the order. And it took him 3 innings as we head back to the top. Ryan Rivera fouling off the 1-0 effort. Stockton at just 26 pitches through 3, now at 28, trying to retire Rivera for the second time tonight. Grounded out back to Mccabe in the home half of the 1st inning as he fouls off the elevated 88-mile-an-hour fastball out of that right hand of Stockton.
And Stockton maybe doesn't throw the hardest compared to some of the guys in the league, but does attack the strike zone really well. And with the way that the hitters hit their first time around, it could prove to be a little bit more difficult the second time around, but Stockton is cruising so far, has been very efficient.
Throws the 1-2 changeup, doesn't get Rivera to pull the string, but yes, a strike thrower that right-hander is. 66% of the time he throws strikes coming into the action this evening, and look at that. Back-to-back outside changeups. Rivera able to hold off on the 1-2 pitch, but back-to-back, there's no way you're going to be able to resist that one, as that right on that outside corner to the lefty. Great job there from Stockton, a guy who you and I imagine, who's seen more baseball than us here at Jimmy John's Field through the first couple of weekends, maybe our PA announcer, but other than that, Spencer Stockton, outside of his blunder back in his last outing, he's been absolutely tremendous, and without a doubt, a guy who's got the stuff to pitch at the next level, as, of course, on cue, an error committed there by a guy who doesn't make a lot of those. That is Adrian Guzman for the Unicorns. Had the .939 fielding percentage coming into this one, but Dobson will reach on the E6 with 1 out. And the last thing you want to do as a team is make a mistake, allow a base runner for the guy who's coming up to the plate now, and Sonny Cortez, the co-player of the week here, who was with Luis Contreras. But Cortez, a league leader with that .433 batting average on the season, takes this one into left field. If it stays fair, it's going to be trouble. And in fact, it is. Down into the corner.
Who moved Sonny Cortez into the 3 spot today to give him some more RBI opportunities. He had obviously an incredible week last week with 8 hits and 8 walks, but only a pair of RBIs. He doesn't have the chance to drive in a lot of runs, but when you put him in the 3 spot, it gives him a few more opportunities, and it pays off right here for the Mammoths' first run of the game.
It's a really tough scenario back-to-back there for Skip Essian's team. A guy who is out there playing for your team for the most part for a defensive reason, makes a miscue. Dobson reaches on the error from Guzman, and then, of course, Cortez coming through with the RBI double. Won't be an earned run against Stockton. So Stockton allowing the unearned run as it's Ethan Whisker's turn now. He looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Looks at a second straight, 80-mile-an-hour slider. Gets enough of that outside third. Evens the count up at 1-1. Whisker back to start the second inning, grounded out to third base. The Unicorns will take a ground out to third in this one if they can keep Cortez over there at second, as Maltby keeping this one in front of him, transitioning from a catcher to a goalie, as he does not want to allow Sonny Cortez to get that much closer to scoring, as of course might not need any miscue at home plate, as Cortez on the season 2 for 3 on the base paths. He's kind of a 5-tool player. He's got pretty much all you need. He's got the speed, he's got the power, he's got the glove out there in the outfield, as making the catch on the run is Poge. Cortez was thinking about not tagging up. Get that baseball back in the infield, so he made that split-second decision, and with his well-known speed, he gets that much closer into scoring, so the out is effective there for Whisker. It's not a sacrifice in the books, but if the Mammoths can get this second run in, that's a big time out, as that fly ball almost got out of here for Ethan Whisker. Now Jake Barbie's turn to try and drive in the Mammoths' second run of the game. First pitch swinging. You heard the crack of the bat as it busts. This one might drop in, and in fact, deep on him. And the Mammoths end up getting their second run of the game because of it.
Yeah, that's 2 fly balls in a row that Poge did not get that good of a read on. We saw the last one, that fly out to center field for Whisker. Initially, he was coming in on that ball. It could have snuck over his head. Fortunate enough, he was able to get back for it, but Poge did not get a good read on that ball. Probably should have caught it, but Mammoths strike again, 3-2 ball game.
So a pair of doubles after the error committed by Adrian Guzman. It just kind of goes to show that you got a starter who's cruising. You get your first out of the inning with the strikeout to the leadoff hitter, Rivera, and it's unbelievable how the snowball effect can just happen when one mistake is made. As old as time, Yogi Berra with that quote way back in the day, how this game is 90% mental, 10% physical. It's no joke right there, as you saw one little mistake leading the 2 runs here for the Mammoths with a couple of doubles in this one. As Polshan, meanwhile, down in this count 0-2, Stockton desperately trying to get out of this inning with that 3-2 lead. The 0-2. Strike, outside corner, called strike 3. Polshan rung up on strikes. That's now 4 for Stockton on the night, but he does allow the 2 runs, both of them unearned, as we are through 4 at Jimmy John's Field. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. to the fifth we go. Rich Borland alongside Leo Ortel as this ball hit a wild way out there at the right. But Colin Ryda, the only man to not get an at-bat in that fourth with a big hit for Utica. First hit of the day for him, but it's ever too often that we're having the leadoff guys in some innings make something happen as we're trying to get back onto the broadcast as Rideout gets the leadoff double, just what the doctor ordered after the Corns allowed the 2 runs in that home half of the fourth. Right back at it offensively as Philip Wahby back at it, came in to relieve Thomas Muratori in that fourth inning, but allowed 3 straight singles and then got a pair of strikeouts and a walk after the fact as Coley Curry standing in, one of the last batters Muratori faced in this ball game. He had walked on 5 pitches and came in to score the second run of the ball game for Utica. Open base at first. Over there at second is Rideout. Wahby with the 0-1 changeup upstairs. Curry hitting this one to the right side. The ground out proves effective. At least you take it to the right side and allow that base runner to move up and 90 feet closer to scoring. So Rideout gets to third with 1 out. Coleman Poge, who had a tough inning defensively, comes up to the plate now, but the offense has been there tonight, 2 for 2 with a pair of singles.
Yeah, he's had a good game so far after a slow start to the season. Came in hitting just 115. Does have 1 home run on the year, but back-to-back singles in the second and fourth inning. Coleman Poge is hitting the ball pretty well today.
Tried to string that single into a double. Was recorded for the first out. Imagine if he reaches base safely. That inning could still be going in the top of the fourth if Poge wasn't eager on the base pass, but right. You got to respect it as he takes a cut, a lethal one at the first pitch. It's 0-1, but producing here in this ball game, it's close as the Mammoths trying to string some stuff together as their offense has been sort of non-existent this year outside of their game last Thursday where they put up double digits against that 2-time defending champ Birmingham Bloomfield Beavers. But runner on third, 1 out. Infield now in with the 1-run game. Poge trying to make something happen. Just needs to put it where they ain't. At least hit it deep enough to drive in a run. This one down that right field line. Look out to my CMU alumni who's out there tonight representing the Chippewas on CMU night at the ballpark. Fire up to all my Chippewas out there either in the suites or in the bathrooms on the concourse. Poge, meanwhile, down in this one, 0-2 to start. Wahby desperately trying to get out of this one as he allowed 3 straight singles when he came in to relieve Muratori alongside that walk. But he did get 2 strikeouts as this one popped up into right field. Might have a play at the plate. Instead, that wind going to carry it. Making the catch at the wall is Whisker, but that one going to go deep enough for the Corns to get their now 4th run of the ball game as Poge doing it all this evening with the sacrifice fly out to right as Rideout comes in to score the 4th run of the ball game.
Yeah, that wind is definitely playing a factor, bowling straight out pretty much to right center field right now. Looked like that was going to be caught in front of the warning track by Ethan Whisker out there in right field. Carried pretty far. Whisker, who we saw show off his arm as he got the put out to Poge. He was trying to take second, had no play at the plate because that ball was dancing around because of the wind.
First pitch breaking ball to Maltby. Understood there from the right-hander Wahby. Maltby had the first knock of the day against Wahby, and it was on the first pitch, so totally understand why he brings in the breaking ball as the 92-mile-an-hour fastball missing in the dirt. Good job from Barbie, but it didn't matter as no one's out there on the base pass now. Unicorns with 1 in the top of the first, 2 in the top of the fourth, and they've added the 1 here in this top of the fifth. But the Mammoths stringing for 2 in that home half of the fourth have given them some life and have had to force the issue on Utica as they've been able to tack one back here in this fifth. Breaking ball at 84, called for strike 2. So quickly Maltby down in this one. 1 for 2 on the day with that RBI single and then a strikeout back in the second, but also came in to score what would be the game-winning run of the game if Mammoths cannot put anything else up on the board. The 1-2 pitch fouled up and out of play it goes to our right here in the press box.
And like you mentioned last time around, Maltby, that first pitch he saw was just that little infield single, kind of a swinging bunt. An unfortunate break for Philip Wahby, who has not had the outing that he would have liked so far. He's given up quite a few hits, a pair of runs, and also the unearned run that will be credited to Thomas Muratori.
Wahby trying to get out of this inning. The breaking ball at 85 just fouled off there from Maltby as he stays alive for at least one more. Maltby coming to us from Gilbert, Arizona. Played in the Pecos League in 2018 with the Roswell Invaders. 331 average in 38 games as the man with a 222 average just making Philip Wahby work. That's now 3 straight foul balls as he's worked, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pitches in this at bat. It's just 1 and 2.
And Maltby already with 1 home run on the season. The Unicorns, like we mentioned before, 8 home runs coming in. No multi-home run players so far, but Maltby, 13 home runs last season with the Invaders. He'll strike out right here.
So Maltby goes down on strikes for the second time tonight. Wahby gets out of the inning, but did allow the double that ended up coming in to score as the Corns lead it now by 2. We're halfway through 5. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the home half of the 5th, we get it going right away as Stephen Wells Jr., the designated hitter in tonight's contest. It's a rope to the first baseman, Larry Mccabe. Mccabe has a little bit of an issue with it to start, but corrals it, keeps it in his vicinity, and Wells is retired for the second time tonight on the first pitch that he sees.
Yeah, and really not the at-bat that you want to start the inning, as we just saw the Unicorns put up 1. Now a 2-run ball game once again. You'd like to get that leadoff man on, as the Mammoths were able to put up a pair last inning against Spencer Stockton thanks to RBI doubles from Cortez and Barbie, so a few extra base hits off of Stockton, but not the way you wanted to start the inning here.
So now it's Javon Shelby's turn. Looks at the first pitch he sees. It's a slider that looked ever so good, but just missing on the outside part of the strike zone is that pitch. Meanwhile, Stockton, through his first 4 innings, allowing the 3 hits, the 2 runs, both unearned. But through the first 4, 41 pitches, 29 of them for strikes, has gotten, count them, 4 strikeouts to his day. Is he going to get there? Yes, he is. Spencer Stockton showing that athleticism, finding the baseball, and then using those large legs of his to beat Shelby, who's got speed. And I don't know how often in the books do you write a one unassisted putout?
Yeah, not very often, that's for sure.
I know never when I was out there pitching back in my day, but it's a story for another time.
Definitely a rare occurrence.
Pasquale now standing in, just 3 pitches in this inning for Spencer Stockton. He could match his best inning of the day. That was back in the 3rd when it took just 4 pitches to retire these same batters. So the 3 men at the bottom of this order have had some issue seeing the pitches as Stockton's bringing it right to him. As this one over to the shortstop, Adrian Guzman. And he rights the ship as the 1-2-3 inning is commenced. The 6-3 putout puts the Mammoths out in order. We are through 5. Jimmy John's Field. It's 4-2 Utica. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the 6th we go. It'll be Adrian Guzman, the number 9 hitter, Kyle Bonacke, and Jimmy Latona back up at the top to face off against Philip Wahby, who came in to relieve Thomas Muratori halfway through the 4th inning, allowed 3 straight singles, got a strikeout, a walk, and another strikeout. But since then, back in the 5th, he allowed a leadoff double to Colin Rideout and then retired the side. Curry with a ground out to second, Poge without number 2 that drove in Rideout with the sacrifice fly out to right, and then Maltby swinging and missing on a long at-bat on strikes. Guzman, meanwhile, 1 for 2 coming into this at-bat, as he's got a single and a pop-out to the catcher thus far. Wahby, meanwhile, on the 1-1, that 93-mile-an-hour fastball looked good, but it just missed by a hair from the right-hander.
Looked like the same pitch he threw the first time around, and Barbie trying to get the frame there did not get the call. Kind of surprising. Seemed like the same pitch. Like I said, that first pitch fastball hit the outside corner was called for the only strike in this at-bat. 2-1 count here on Guzman.
This one almost getting a piece of the shortstop, Guzman. That one making the count now 3-1. Wahby, meanwhile, the San Diego, California native, mentioned how he was drafted by the Yankees in just the 12th round back in 2013. Was with those Yankees for 2 years before being signed by the Nationals as a free agent in 2016. Kind of shuffled through the minors, spent time with the Blue Jays as well as the Dundon Blue Jays, I should say, was where he kind of ended things. But as he allows Guzman to walk, that is walk number 2 on the night for Wahby. Only thing worse than the leadoff man on is when he gets on via the walk. And with Guzman's speed, could be a long inning here for Utica.
And you don't want to be walking the 9-hitter, too. You got Kyle Banicki coming up here. Already a single, which drove in a run and on base 2 times before that as well with the hit by pitch and the walk.
Yes, Banicki as he pops out to the outside of the field of play. Had the hit by pitch, came to score the first run of the game in the first, walked on 5 pitches in the third, and then singled and drove in a run back in the fourth. He's ready now for the 0-1 from Wahby. This one flying off to pretty much the exact same direction as the first pitch, but want to give a quick shout out to my Chippewas, who not only is it CMU night here at the ballpark, but Chippewas baseball team playing the furthest they have since the year after I was born. And that just kind of goes to show exactly what this team has been able to accomplish so far this season. Count it going into the NCAA tournament as MAC regular season and conference champs, as Banicki fouls off another one. The Chippewas won 18 straight games. They swept the remaining 5 Mid-American Conference series to end their year, and then, of course, going on winning the tournament in 3 games. They're playing in the Starkville Regional, and it's against a tough opponent as Banicki swings through the pitch. Good enough for out number 1 in this inning. First time Banicki's been retired so far tonight, but the Chippewas having to play against the 39-18 Miami Hurricanes. As I take a quick look, it's 0-0 in the top of the second inning. Chippewas with 2 hits and Miami just the 1. Looks as if Pat Leatherman, the veteran, getting the nod for the Chippewas' first appearance in the NCAA tournament all the way since 1995. But back to the USPBL here as Latona looks at ball 1 in the dirt to start his 4th plate appearance of the night. 1 for 2 with a single, a strikeout, and a walk.
Yeah, the top of the lineup has been good so far. Banicki, although going down swinging in the 6th, had reached base 3 times. Latona reached base the first 2 times he was up, went down looking back in that 4th inning against Philip Wahby. And Latona came in hitting just 200, but did come in with that 346 on base mark. A home run and 5 runs batted in.
This one missing outside so quickly. The count now 2-0 on the Rochester, New York native. Mentioned Latona as well as Elliott coming to us from Mercyhurst University in Pennsylvania. Back in 2018, Latona with a .291 average in 43 games. He was 4th in average in the league, and talked about his stellar end to the season. Shaded up the middle there is Javon Shelby. Going from first to hopefully third is Guzman, but no cigar there. He was rung up big time there. As that ball thrown in there from Ethan Whisker. Easy play there as Guzman is retired. So 2 outs now on the board. Good job there from the Mammoths defense to do everything they could to get that second out. But Latona staying hot. That's his second base knock of the evening.
Another great toss out there by Ethan Whisker, his second outfield assist that we've seen so far in this game. Like I mentioned earlier, Whisker did pitch at Hillsdale College, had a pretty good fastball too, so he's got an arm out there in right field, something that the Unicorns definitely need to take note of the rest of the season.
This one, meanwhile, Mccabe, another first pitch swinging in this at-bat. Sonny Cortez almost losing it out there in center field, but he comes up underneath it for the catch as the leadoff walk and the 1-out single do not come around to score. We head to the home half of the 6th. Utica out in front 4-2. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. Top of the order due up for Westside in this home half of the 6th. We welcome you back to the USPBL YouTube channel. Rich Borland alongside Leo Ortel for this one, as it'll be Rivera, Dobson, Cortez. The 1-0 pitch to Rivera gets through the wickets there of Bonneke, something we don't see all too often. Bonneke on the season with a .974 fielding percentage, but that one's going to go right through the legs, something that Spencer Stockton cannot be a fan of, as the last time that an error was committed, 2 runs came in to score for the Mammoths. So we'll see if they can take as much advantage of this one as Rivera reaches base safely. The first man on. A tough go there for Bonneke as that ball kind of took a weird hop and went right through his legs. As I mentioned, Spencer Stockton, as this one awkwardly thrown into the netting behind home plate as time was called at the very last second. But want to get to how almost perfect Stockton's been tonight. Just 45 pitches through 5 innings. He's had 2 separate innings of just 4 pitches. It was back in the 3rd, and then previously in the 5th, he had thrown just the 4. As Dobson, meanwhile, trying to reach base safely for the 2nd consecutive time. Not an easy play for Guzman, but look at that. Are you kidding me? Over in that 5-6 hole, having to throw across the body, back up the middle of the field to play to get that out at second base. And Rivera's not a slow base runner either. So a really good job there from Guzman as the 6-4 putout is recorded. Dobson reaching on the fielder's choice. 1 on, 1 out.
And Guzman kind of redeems himself there. If you remember back in the 4th, last time actually that Dobson was up, Adrian Guzman was not able to make the play, and that kind of spiraled the rest of that inning as the Mammoths were able to put up 2.
This one, taking a friendly hop into right field it goes. Sonny Cortez kind of just has that strand of luck because, you know, baseball, yes, a game of skill, but it's also a game of failure. And Sonny Cortez not having a lot of that as he gets his 2nd hit of the day. Dobson reaching third base safely, so runners now on the corners for the Mammoths as Stockton having his 2nd bit of issue in this one. It's been when the top of the order has come up to the plate.
And a lot of that goes back to that error committed by Bonneke over there at 2nd. I mean, that's a ball that if you're not playing in double play depth as they were there, I could have got him out of the inning. They could have been 1-2-3 after a couple of ground outs. Actually, 3 ground outs would have been, but now you got 1st and 3rd with 1 down.
Stockton would love to see a ground ball that works its way into a double play. Whisker on the night, though, a ground out to 3rd and a fly out to center. As the 0-1 in on the hands, just past the ranging shortstop, right out. Coming in to score with ease is Dobson. Going from 1st to 3rd and rounding 3rd, headed for home is Cortez. He's going to come in to score with ease, and the Mammoths have tied this one up at 4. So a 2 RBI double there for Whisker as his bat coming alive here in the contest tonight. No better spot there than with 2 runs to come in, and again, 2 unearned runs. All 4 of the Mammoths runs tonight have been unearned.
I just snuck that one past the 3rd baseman there. Just the 2nd extra base hit Whisker has hit, but things are definitely looking up for him after a slow start to the season. Whisker drives in a couple of runs right there. Good for his 4th RBI this season.
So the Mammoths tie this one up. Spencer Stockton, who had a good start to this ball game, was nearly perfect through the first time through the order, but now the 2nd and 3rd time through having some issues as Barbie looks at ball 1, just missing on that outside frame.
And Barbie had a good at-bat his last time around, hit that RBI double back in the 4th, which was good for the 2nd run of the game for the Mammoths. So they put up 2 in that 4th inning, now 2 here in the 6th. Paints the outside corner nicely with that off-speed offering. Looked to be the changeup right there.
So Barbie with that RBI double that drove in Sonny Cortez back in that 4th. Trying to drive in Whisker. This time around is the 1-1 pitch. Flared out of play to the left. Stockton looking for, count it, strikeout number 5 on the day. No action just yet in that right field bullpen. Stockton trying to get through this 6th inning all on his own. Wouldn't be shocked to see him come out for the 7th, barring what happens here in the 6th. Keeps it 4-4. There's no doubt he'll be back out there for the 7th. This one, meanwhile, into center field. Barbie's been swinging a really good bat as of late. Is Coleman Poge running that baseball down? That's not an easy try, as making it to third is Whisker. So the out not going unnoticed. Barbie with a lot of pop in that bat ends up being retired via the flyout to center for out number 2. But if you can get this run in, that's a big fly out there for the North Carolina native.
That'll be Jake Polchin here, 0 for 2 thus far, but good start to his season, hitting .300 entering the ballgame. As we mentioned before, hitting in the 6th spot, maybe a little bit lower in the lineup than you may think that he should be, but a guy that can drive in some runs towards the lower half of this lineup for the Mammoths.
The 0-1, loved the try there from Maltby on that frame job, but home plate umpire Mr. Jim Mulick saw that one all the way through, so Stockton evens this count up at 1-1. Runner on third is Whisker. Polshan trying to get his first knock of the night and driving his first RBI of the evening, but won't do it here. The 1-2 breaker swung on and missed as Stockton looking sharp outside of these couple of errors that have led to runs.
And really his off-speed pitches have led him to most of his success tonight. He's left a couple of fastballs over the heart of the plate that have come around to bite him, but his off-speed stuff has looked good all night long.
So he's going from the windup with that runner on third. The 1-2. Swung on and missed. The slider at 80 miles an hour retires Polshan. Back-to-back Ks for him. That's strikeout number 5 on the evening for Stockton, but not before the Mammoths can tie it up. We're tied at 4 through 6. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through 6 at Jimmy John's Field. A new pitcher making his USPBL debut. That would be, of course, Jake Davis, the Texas native, as Dan Elliott trying to get things going in the top of the 7th on the first pitch that he sees, but it's right to Ethan Whisker in right. 1 up, 1 down. Good start for the newcomer, the lefty, the only lefty on this Westside staff.
That's right. Jake Davis last year played in the Frontier League for the Evansville Otters. Pitched just 8 1/3 innings with a 9.72 ERA, but 14 strikeouts in those 8 1/3. Did walk 7 batters, so we're going to look for him to attack the strike zone and throw strikes, as he did struggle with his command last year.
Meanwhile, Rideout looking at called strike 1 on the night. 1 for 3 with a double. Run scored. Ground out to the pitcher, and then a fly out to right. Quickly, though, 0-2. Davis looking sharp in this one as the sun is officially set here on this Friday night. Been a good ball game thus far as the 0-2 in the dirt. Good eye there from Rideout. So Evansville Otters, huh? Seen a lot of people in the USPBL coming from the Frontier League as Rideout the lefty trying to understand Davis. Ground ball fought off to the left side. Over there to the shortstop, Dobson. Little miscue to start, but Rideout busting his tail down the line. Wouldn't matter as the 6-3 putout is recorded. Good job there from Dobson to corral it and stay in that one to make the play.
Oh, that's a nice recovery there. Maybe not the cleanest play, but able to keep it in front of him. Hits off of his chest, able to pick it up, throw a perfect strike over to Polchin at first. It's a great recovery. 2 down. That brings up Coley Curry. Coley's 0 for 2 so far, but reached base in the 4th with that base on balls.
Curry looking at the first pitch that he sees in this one as Davis trying to make a name for himself at Jimmy John's Field. No better place to try and reboot your career if you want to get to that next level is Curry quickly trying to get out of the way of that one. Looks at 2 straight as that one out of the zone by a long stretch. The lefty-lefty matchup. Understanding why Davis has came in this frame, having to face off against a couple of left-handers. 3 of them to be, in fact, as this one. Line, look out there in the left field patio as Curry took a good approach to that 2-0, but just a tad late on it as the Mammoths trying to turn the tide in this contest after it was all Utica to start this ball game. They went up 3-0 halfway through the 4th. Mammoths crawled back to get 2, but then Utica hopped right back on top with an insurance run in the top of the 5th, made it 4-2, but then the Mammoths striking back in the home half of the 6th to get 2 of their own. Curry, meanwhile, not sure what he was swinging at there. You can tell he's agitated with himself as he chased after what would have been ball 3. But instead, it's now 2-2 on the lefty.
All right, Curry came in with one of the highest averages on the team with that 345 mark. So he has been seeing the ball well, but not seeing well in this at-bat.
That gnarly off-speed pitch dropping right under the bat of Curry. Nothing he was going to do in that one as we head to stretch time at Jimmy John's Field. We're knotted up at 4. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the latter end of the 7th, it'll be the bottom of this Westside lineup. Wells Jr., Shelby, Pasquale, as for the first time tonight, Stephen Wells Jr. is going to see a second pitch in an at-bat. 0 for 2 with the pop out to third base and a ground out over there to first. Spencer Stockton, meanwhile, 58 pitches through 6 innings, 43 of them for strikes, 5 strikeouts to 2 walks, has allowed the 4 runs, but all of them have been unearned.
Yeah, Stockton making a good start here. We mentioned that he struggled against the Diamond Hoppers back on the 25th, but 2 solid outings before that, a combined 13 innings pitched, actually 12 innings pitched with 14 strikeouts. Wasn't the same story for him against the Diamond Hoppers. Had just 1 strikeout. He's throwing a lot better in this game, just hasn't really been backed up by his defense so much in this one. Defense has struggled. A couple of errors have led to a few runs for the Mammoths.
As that one misses outside. So Wells, for the first time tonight, working a good at-bat against Stockton, 3rd time around after being retired twice on just 2 total pitches. So now the 3-1. Swung on and missed. The changeup on the 3-1. That's just unfair. Simply unfair.
And when you're a guy like Stockton that can locate each one of your pitches, you've got that ability to go to the off-speed pitch, even when you're down in the count. And that's what he did right there. And Wells Jr. up there looking for the fastball. Was absolutely fooled.
Payoff pitch, another changeup at 82. Look at Stockton there, kind of awkwardly landing on that landing spot as you see him touch it up on his way back, but looks to be just fine. Brushes it off for nothing, as Wells well out in front of that one again. And if I'm Stockton, maybe against a guy like Cortez or Whisker, you don't throw the exact same pitch 3 times in a row, but I'd be thinking about that changeup again, and look at it right there. The 3rd straight 82-mile-an-hour changeup. Wells out in front of it, and for the 2nd consecutive time, grounds out to first base. 1 up, 1 down here to start the 7th.
Yeah, well-pitched at bat there for Stockton. He was down in the count 3-1. Used that changeup 3 times in a row. Able to retire Wells Jr. The bottom of this Mammoths lineup has not done really much damage. Javon Shelby does have a single and 2 at-bats so far as he'll step up to the plate. But really, it's been the top part of this lineup. Sonny Cortez, Ethan Whisker, and Jake Barbie all with RBIs for the Mammoths.
Yeah, it looks as if there is a right-hander starting to play some catch out and right, not officially getting loose just yet, as Shelby looks at ball 1 to begin this at-bat. Out there is the right-hander, the Western Illinois Leatherneck out of Oak Park, Illinois, Sam Cottingham Beard, as the 1-0 let go there by Shelby. So a good at-bat here, and maybe some strategy, some conversation in the dugout prior to this inning, as Wells Jr., Shelby, and Pasquale have not seen more than a 2-pitch at-bat out of all 6 coming into this inning for the 3 bottom hitters in this lineup. But look at the difference here. You playing with the tie now against a man like Stockton, something that's not always said. But look at this. Shelby working now a 3-pitch a 3 straight balls to start this at-bat. Stockton finally finding the strike zone at 3-1.
Yeah, and this is a good approach towards the end of Stockton's outing, getting up there with his pitch count. You're going to tend to throw a few more balls. The control isn't where it was when this ball game started. So I'm really liking the approach from the bottom half of this lineup.
This one popped up. It might stay in the field of play, but instead, a fan in the front row making a nifty catch. Didn't need the glove or nothing. So nice showing there from a man who doesn't look to be 26, so he can't necessarily maybe try out next year, but hey, you know what? Love to see that as everybody looks okay down there. So Shelby, who started this at-bat 3-0, Stockton fighting back in the 3-2, as this one fouled off again, this time into the protective netting behind home plate. And I'll tell you what, this is quite the protective netting. You can barely see the netting in front of you. It almost looks as if it's non-existent, as it's one of the thinnest nettings in all of sports. And you saw that scary moment in the Cubs-Astros game the other night.
It was Albert Almora Jr.
Yeah, Albert Almora Jr. just hit a line drive into the stands and absolutely reamed a young fan, but I'm not sure exactly what actually ended up happening with that fan. I don't know if they ended up having to go to the hospital or if they're okay or not. But
she was okay. They ended up going to the hospital, but she was deemed okay. But definitely a scary situation there as Shelby takes that pitch. But the protective netting, very thin here at Jimmy John's Field, but also does the job very well. It extends all the way up until that start of the dugout, which the dugouts here at Jimmy John's Field are a little bit farther pushed back than the typical field. We got the seating at the club suite level down there where fans can enjoy a great experience from a heck of a view down there. But the protective netting definitely does the job. We also got the protective netting down the left field and right field sides beyond the dugouts, so fans can definitely be protected here. Definitely a safe environment here at Jimmy John's Field.
Pasquale, meanwhile, standing in for the third time tonight, and no better player in this lineup to bat in this position if you're Utica, I should mention. On the day, 2 ground outs, 2 shortstop, one of them for an inning-ending double play. Can we see a third straight ground out from Pasquale tonight? Won't see it on this one as Stockton keeping tabs on Javon Shelby over there at the first base bag. Shelby on the season has no tries yet on the base pass, but we'll see if he tries to make something happen here in this home half of the 7th. Not going anywhere. Pasquale with the tough night at the plate, trying to show bunt with the 1 runner on and just the 1 out. Maybe catch Rideout off guard, but pulls back. Wouldn't matter as Stockton misses the zone for the second consecutive time. Good hitters count on Pasquale. It's 2-0. Keeping tabs over there on first. Shelby not going anywhere.
And Pasquale kind of having a surprising slow start to his season last year with the Bakersfield Train Robbers, of course managed by Brian Kluppe, the assistant now for the Mammoths. A .339 batting average, a .410 on base percentage, so a reliable hitter last year in the Pecos League for the Train Robbers. Also drew 23 walks, drove in 41 runs, but not really producing much for the Mammoths. He's in the 9 spot here, 0 for 2, looking for his first hit, but a good count, 3-0.
So there it goes. Finally finding the zone is Stockton, so we're starting to see the command be an issue for the right-hander. That's the third batter in as many tries this inning that has reached a 3-ball count, something that we did not see all too often. Pasquale ready for the 3-1. This one called strike 2, so back-to-back at-bats where Stockton struggles early, gets down in the count 3-0, but fights back to bring it full. Question is, can he get a different result than what Shelby had just produced with the payoff pitch base on balls? Stockton looking for strikeout number 6. He ended the 6th frame with his 5th strikeout on the night. And outside of, this one popped up into foul territory. Had 2 strikeouts in the first, none in the second or third. Had 2 more in the 4th, none in the 5th, and then the 1 more there in the 6th inning. But he has been effective tonight. All 4 of the Mammoths runs have been unearned. So they've gotten 2 errors against them tonight, the middle infielders in Guzman and Bonneke. Payoff to Pasquale. Swung on and missed at 79 miles an hour. Looked as if that changeup was dropped in on Pasquale on the payoff pitch. So, in fact, strikeout number 6, good enough for out number 2 here in this home half of the 7th. Back to the top of the order we go, and Ryan Rivera, who started that long home half of the 6th when he reached on that error from Bonneke.
And Ryan Rivera getting on base once, like we mentioned, didn't come in with necessarily the best batting average, obviously at that 154 mark, but does get on base, 368 on base percentage coming in, able to create situations for his team where they can score runs. That's why he's in the leadoff spot.
Stockton, who had 58 pitches through 6, he's thrown a lot of pitches to these 3 batters here in this 7th. Pitch number 21 of the inning coming up here to just the 4th batter. Rivera ready for the 0-0. Fouls it off out of play into the netting. As Rivera on the night, he's 0 for 3. Grounded out to the first baseman in the first. Struck out swinging back in the 4th. and then reached on that error just that inning ago in the 6th. Mammoths have, without a doubt, been the most sluggish offensive team so far this season as Rivera looks at called strike 2. Clearly the Unicorns have had some good stuff. Eastside has really had a couple of guys that have been able to muster up the action. The Beavers offense, undoubtedly, in my opinion, the best offense in the league as their staff's still trying to figure things out. Rivera, meanwhile, down in this count 0-2, trying to make something happen at the top of this order. Won't happen here on that 83-mile-an-hour changeup. It's 1-2.
Now the Mammoths entered with just a .232 team batting average, a league worst 28 runs batted in. The Unicorns with 44, which leads the league, and they're also league-leading 8 home runs as a team. But even ball game here.
This one into left center field. Coleman Poge ranging to his right, makes the catch with ease, and we are through 7 in Jimmy John's Field. It is 4-4. We head to the 8th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through 7 at Jimmy John's Field. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel back with you. It's been kind of a back-and-forth affair tonight. Utica at one point was up 3-0, but the Mammoths have crawled back and forth. They got 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th, 2 runs in the home half of the 6th, as the day is all said and done for not just Philip Wahby, but also the newcomer Davis. Davis goes the inning. And in order it was, he retired Elliott, Rideout, and Curry with a flyout, strikeout, and groundout. Is Coleman Poge now standing in against one of the tallest men I've ever seen at this ballpark, the 6'9", 290-pounder out of New Jersey. That would be, of course, Brennan Price for Westside, trying to keep this game tied as we head to the 8th. Not if Poge has anything to say about it, though. He's had a stellar night, a pair of singles, and also drove in a run with the sacrifice flyout as Poge He's worked the count 1-2 already. That fastball up and away evens it up at 2-2.
Now Price needs to focus on his control. It's been tough for him this season as far as command. Just 3 2/3 innings pitched. He's given up 5 hits, 4 earned runs, has walked 5 batters and struck out 4. But it's really been the walks that have killed him. Those 5 walks and 3 2/3 are numbers that you definitely do not want to see. And he also struggled with walks in the minors as he played affiliated ball with the Toronto Blue Jays, and he walked 13 batters in 23 innings. That really was what hurt him in affiliated ball.
I mean, let's be honest. It doesn't matter how hard you throw, how big you are. If you can't hit the strike zone consistently, there's no room for you in a professional organization. As meanwhile, right on cue, Poge reaching base safely for the 3rd time tonight. Reaches on the payoff pitch walk. Austin Maltby now standing in 1 for 3 with a single that drove in a run and a pair of swing and miss strikeouts. Let's see which side of Austin Maltby we see here in this top of the 8th as they try and break open this 4-4 tie.
Now Maltby entered the ballgame hitting .222, does have a home run, and now 2 RBIs after driving in that run back in the 4th.
This one into right center. Sonny Cortez trying to make something happen, but it'll get past him. Rounding third, headed for home is Pote.
Really the first hard-hit ball we've seen Maltby hit. We mentioned that RBI single that he had back in the 4th. It was just an infield single off a swinging bunt for him. But, man, he crushed that ball into that right center field gap. And Unicorns finally back on top as they score for the first time since the 5th inning.
And if anybody was going to make that catch, Sonny Cortez would be the one. He's got so much speed out there in that center field position, taking over for the injured Drew Kitson. But how about that? Utica breaking it open here in the top of the 8th. Price having an issue starting with this one. The walk, now the double. Guzman, meanwhile, looking at ball 1 to begin this one. Guzman on the night thus far. 1 for 2 with a single, popped out to the catcher and also reached on a walk. Meanwhile, the 0-1 in foul territory. It's completely overran there by Steve Pasquale. Tough scenario there for the Mammoths, who could have gotten their first out of the frame, but instead Guzman will stay alive for at least one more.
And that's definitely a play you have to make right there. That's routine. It is pretty large foul ground here at Jimmy John's Field. Obviously, we talk about that a lot towards that left and right side. Not so much in the outfield, but in the infield, a lot of room for the fielders to run. That's a play that Pascal has to make, but redemption here for Guzman as he takes the 0-2 offering that missed a little bit high with that four-seam fastball.
So he works the count now, 1-2, trying to reach base safely for the 3rd consecutive time after popping out to the catcher back in the 2nd. Price trying to get his first out and strikeout of the night, and he'll get it here. The pull of the string for Guzman. He's retired on strikes for out number 1. Good job there from Price to battle back here in this frame. The last thing you want to do is come into a tie game, which, let's be honest, Price has not really came into a lot of close situations with the way that he's pitched this year, but got to give credit to assistant manager Brian Kluppe, to bring him in a tough situation. But Bonneke back to the top of the order we go. Flares one out to left. It's foul as he's trying to get hit number 2 of the night. He had reached base safely 3 consecutive times to start with a hit by pitch, a walk, and an RBI single. But since then, a swing and miss strikeout. That was against Wahby back there in the 6th as Bonneke quickly down 0-2 with that look on the 0-1.
At 92 right there on the corner. Tough to even make contact on a pitch like that.
Bonneke fouling this one off the bat and off the body. Barbie tried to play it off as if that one was in the field of play, but I think everybody and their brother saw that one made contact with Bonneke before it got in between the lines. Unicorns trying to add on an insurance run with Maltby out there at second. Bonneke batting from the left side, looking for hit number 2 on the night. We'll see if he can deliver the 0-2. Fastball upstairs at 93, fouled off again. So Bonneke's right on it. Just a good job of Price to keep that one out of the zone well enough to not let Bonneke get a good piece of the bat on it.
And he's had some good at-bats, on base 3 times in the first, third, and fourth, with a single back in the fourth which drove in a run, and then a walk in the third, hit by pitch in the first. He's had some great at-bats today.
This one in on the hands. It's popped up into center. Sonny Cortez underneath it, backtracking. It looks as if the runner on second, Maltby, was thinking about it as he saw Cortez kind of backing up. But instead, smart idea there. You never want to make that third out of the inning at third base. So good call there from assistant manager Willie Martin as Bonneke is retired for out number 2.
And it's going to be Jimmy Latona stepping up, the DH for the Unicorns this evening. A couple of singles for him and a walk.
First pitch, swinging, 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Again, off the bat, you see Latona quickly not thrilled with himself as he's got to have that quicker approach to the plate. Got to expect that ball to be there, because if you don't, you're not going to succeed in this game. It's more of the approach where you got to expect a strike, expect a strike, expect a strike, expect a strike, and then lay off at that last second. Because if you're going up there with the motive to see some balls out of the zone, you're not going to have a good time here in this game. But clearly these guys have known that for quite some time now. So Latona now down in this one, 1-2, is JJ, the field general, heading up to the booth. He's been working his tail off all night. Latona trying to drive in an insurance run here in the top of the 8th. Not if Brennan Price has anything to say about it, but it looks like Latona is going to deliver. Rounding third. It's 6-4 Utica.
That first RBI for Latona was a fastball on the outer half of the plate. He kind of just sent it out there to left field. Maybe not the prettiest hit, but it does the job. Kind of just stuck the bat out there. Another good at bat for Latona. 3 hits, his first RBI now. 6-4 Utica.
6 runs on 10 hits. Westside with just 4 runs on 5 hits. Brennan Price trying to get out of this inning. The slow grounder over to the right side of the infield. Shelby having to rifle that one to Polshan at first, and Mccabe is retired for the 4th time tonight. But the Corns get 2 more in the top of the 8th. We head to the home half. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the home half of the 8th we go. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. Getting things going here is Ryan Dobson, wasting no time to try and make something happen, but he won't, as the third baseman, Colin Rideout, makes the play on the ground out, 1 up and 1 down. Good start for the reliever, Sam Cottingham-Beard, who comes into this one for Stockton. Spencer Stockton, in his 4th start of the season, a good one. 7 innings pitched, did allow 5 hits, 4 runs, just 1 of them earned. Did allow 3 walks, but did have 6 strikeouts in the contest, as Sam Cottingham-Beard throwing the second pitch of the outing to Sonny Cortez high and in, as he's getting his night started. The 1-0 drops in for what I thought was going to be a strike, but instead it's 2-0, and sometimes when you're a guy like Cortez, you get the benefit of the doubt.
And Sam Cottingham-Beard now in his 2nd season in the USPBL. Last year, a 5.28 ERA in 15 1/3 innings pitched. So far this season, has done a lot better. 3.60 earned run average over 5 innings pitched, just 3 hits given up, 2 earned runs, has walked a batter, and struck out 5, so striking out about a batter per inning.
This one, lined into left, Cole Lee Curry tracking to the wall with 1 step onto it, makes the catch on the run, made it look a lot easier than what I would have.
Yeah.
That's for sure, as
Tough
Cortez, for the 2nd time tonight, is retired. Don't hear that all too often, but even when he was taken out there, that line drive, a good one for Cortez. You'll take it, as the Mammoths trying to make something happen, but Sam Cottingham-Beard looking sharp after Stockton's 7 frames.
It'll be Ethan Whisker stepping up, 1 for 3 with that double that drove in 2 back in the 6th. He's had a lot better of a season the past couple of games. Didn't start off the season too high, but a couple of extra base hits in his past few games. Hopefully he can secure himself in the 4th spot in this Mammoths lineup, as he's looking to move into affiliated ball, co-MVP last season with Dan Ward, of course, and also the runner-up in the Home Run Derby.
So Whisker looks at 2 straight. This one missing outside. Great opportunity to try and make something happen. Outfield playing is about as deep as they can on that grass. As how about that? The 2-0 bender for Sam Cottingham-Beard. Called strike 1. Sometimes that's what you got to go to when the fastball isn't working. But pretty much everything's working at the moment for the Leatherneck out of Western Illinois University. The 2-1 missing upstairs, as Whisker looking sharp through his last 2 at-bats. The RBI double in the 6th. Drove in a run. And this one lined into left field. Cole Lee Curry, can he make the catch? No, he cannot. Looked as if he had it, but that one just getting underneath the glove on the hop, according to our home plate umpire, Jim Mulick, but I think that was the right call.
Yeah.
Curry tried to play it off as if he made the catch on the run, but good job there from our home plate umpire right on top of it.
Another hard hit ball there for Whisker, and back-to-back at-bats. Actually back in the 4th, too, that deep fly out to center field. Really 3 at-bats in a row where he has hit the ball hard. That's a good sign for Mark Wiedemeyer and the Mammoths. You want that 4-hitter to be able to produce. Unfortunately, Sonny Cortez could not reach, otherwise maybe able to score almost another double for Cortez, but a 2-out base runner here for Jake Barbie. Also had an RBI double. Just drove in 1. That was back in the 4th. Just drove in the 2nd run of the game for the Mammoths.
This one over to the right side. Bonneke over there to Mccabe for the 3rd and final out. So the 2-out single goes unscathed. The Mammoths trail by 2 through 8. We head to the 9th. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. We're through 8 at Jimmy John's Field. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. Utica out in front as they get 2 in the top of the 8th. We'll see how they fare to start the 9th. Dan Elliott, Colin Rideout, Cole Lee Curry. The 4, 5, 6 hitters due up as the day is done for Brennan Price. He gives way to Zach Williams, the right-hander, as he gets Elliott quickly down in this one. 0-2. Williams on the season, that ERA sitting at 8 with that 0-2 record through 7 relief appearances. 9 innings pitched out of that right hand. He's allowed 10 runs on 13 hits, 8 of them earned. 4 walks to 10 strikeouts. Batters hitting .302 against him. Williams definitely wanting to have a moment where keep the offense for the Unicorns non-existent here in the top of the 9th and hope your team can come through for you in the latter half, as it'll be the 6, 7, 8 hitters due up for Westside. This one line to the shortstop, past the ranging number 6, Ryan Dobson, as Elliott with 2 strikes reaches base safely for the first time tonight. He was 0 for 4 with a trio of strikeouts and a flyout to right, but a good sign there from the right fielder as Elliott gets on to lead off the top of the 9th.
That kind of shortened up the swing there maybe. Changed his approach, able to go to the opposite field. Just sneaks one past Dobson. But you got yourself a leadoff base runner for the Unicorns, who are trying to tack on maybe a few insurance runs to pad that lead. You never know what can happen in the 9th.
First pitch in the dirt, right out with a good eye up at the plate. So far today, 1 for 4 with a double when he came in to score the 4th run of the game for Utica. As Williams taking a deep breath, the leg, the kick, the push. This one out there into the left field patio area gets out of play. The count evens up at 1-1. But we mentioned how the Unicorns with the best record coming into tonight's action. With that 7-2 record, they sit alone at the top of the standings. The Eastside Diamond Hoppers in second. They're at 5-3. And then over there to the Western Division, Birmingham Bloomfield at 3-5, and of course Westside here at 2-7. The Eastern Division has fared better so far through the first almost month of the season. It's our 4th weekend here at Jimmy John's Field. It's been a good first month, a lot of great starting pitching. Offense starting to come around for a couple of the teams as the 2-1 to Rideout swung right over, evens the count up at 2-2. But for the remainder of the weekend, Utica will be back in action tomorrow as they will take on the Eastside Diamond Hoppers in what should be a really good ball game. ESPN 3 will be in the house as it'll be our Boy Scout night. Meanwhile, the Mammoths trying to get 2 for the price of 1, and in fact, they will. The 6-4-3 double play is commenced, and quickly 2 outs here in the top of the 9th. Love to see that if you're Zach Williams.
Now batting the left fielder, number 1, Cole Lee Curry.
So 2 up and 2 down. And that'll be Cole Lee Curry trying to get his first knock of the night. Walked and scored in the 4th. Outside of that, a pair of strikeouts. One via the swing and miss, one via the look, and also grounded out to second. Back in the 5th. Looks at ball 1 to begin this one.
Yeah, it's been a tough day for Curry so far. Just reached with that walk back in the 4th, but otherwise 0 for 3. Curry came into the game leading the Unicorns with 7 runs batted in, and also leading the team with that .345 batting average. So despite hitting in the 6th spot, Cole Curry has produced well for the Mammoths, for the Unicorns so far this year. He's got a good hitter's count with the 2-0.
This one chopped over there to Williams. He makes the play with ease, and it'll be 3 up and 3 down for the Corns in the top half of the 9th. Hold on to your hats, as our PA announcer John Grab says. The Mammoths need 2. If we're going to stick around for another inning of play, it'll be Pulshan, Wells Jr., Shelby, due up. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. To the home half of the ninth we go. Rich Borland, Leo Ortel with you. The day is done for Sam Cottingham. Beard does a great job in the setup role. Goes the inning, allows the one hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. Whisker singled with 2 outs, but it wouldn't matter. He got a pair of ground outs and a line out from a tough part of the lineup in Dobson, Cortez, and Barbie. So a good job from Sam Cottingham Beard to battle through the meat of the lineup, and he now gives way to Andre Sebic, the Utah Valley University and El Sobrante, California native, who starts the new batter, the pinch hitter, who ends Jake Polshan's day. It'll be Jackson Smith as he fouls off the 1-0 offer. It's 1-1.
Yeah, Sebic has been probably the most reliable pitcher out of relief for the Unicorns this year. No runs given up in just 2 innings pitched. Just 1 hit, though. No earned runs, no walks, and no strikeouts, so not a lot on his ledger. But Sebic has been good, and that's why he's in here to close down this game. Jackson Smith pinch hitting here. We actually saw him also in the pinch hitting role back on Monday as he came in for Ryan Dobson late in that game as the Mammoths lost 9-2 against the Beavers.
This one to the right side. Another tough play there for Bonneke. Can he finish it off, though? Yes, he can. So Smith, trying to bust his tail down the first baseline, will not be able to give the Mammoths a base runner here in this home half of the ninth. A bang-bang play. Great job there for Bonneke, who already had 1 error on the night that led to some runs for the Mammoths. You got to imagine that mentally that was there for him, but he sticks through it, keeps the baseball right around his area, and he allows himself to retire Smith, who's got some of the best speed here on this Westside roster.
And that's one of the reasons why Jackson Smith came in to pinch hit. They're trying to get that leadoff runner on with some speed, but they're not able to get him on here. Stephen Wells Jr. steps up to the plate 0 for 3. He struggled early on in the game with a couple of at-bats where he saw just 1 pitch, had a better at-bat back in the 7th, but still ended up grounding out to the first baseman.
So if we put all the numbers together, the amount of a chance that the Mammoths have in this one, what do you think that percentage might be with the way that the bottom of this lineup has been able to produce today? You got Wells 0 for 3. Shelby technically 1 for 2 with a single and a walk, but he's not gotten past first base. And then Steve Pasquale 0 for 2 with 2 groundouts and a strikeout. They desperately need Wells to somehow reach base safely. So there's a base runner up there with Javon Shelby up at the plate, the small source of life at the bottom of this lineup, even including Polshan from 6 through 9. The only hit today was Shelby way back in the 3rd, which was the first hit that Stockton allowed.
And Shelby also reached with the walk. If you get Wells Jr. on here, maybe bump up the win probability a few percent for the Mammoths, but not looking too good here for Wells Jr. down 1-2. If you can get Wells on and Shelby with his extra base power, you got a better chance, but got to take it 1 at bat at a time, see what Wells Jr. can do. Down 1-2.
Sebic, the 1-2 pitch. Fastball 90, missing well away. The count evens up at 2-2. Wells stays alive for at least 1 more.
Yeah, definitely some better at-bats late in the game for Stephen Wells Jr. Had a better approach last time around, and so did the rest of the bottom of the order. So good to see him battling here.
So this one getting away from the catcher, Austin Maltby, working the count full. Stephen Wells Jr. walks as good as a hit in this situation. Would put the tying run at the plate, so we'll see what happens.
And Sebic really hasn't struggled a lot with his control this year. With Utah Valley University, in just 15 1/3, walked 10 batters, which led to a pretty high 6.46 ERA for him. He's been good so far this season. Walks have not been a problem.
Payoff pitch, swung on and missed as Sebic drops in the bender for out number 2. Stephen Wells Jr. is retired. 2 up, 2 down, and it'll be up to Javon Shelby. Try and keep his team in it as they're desperately trying to get that 3rd win of the season. But the Unicorns charging through the competition, already looking for their 8th win in just their 10th game.
Yeah, last chance for Shelby. More of a power hitter. Does have the 1 single on his ledger today, which came back in the 4th, then walked in the 7th. He's just looking to get on base here. Definitely not trying to send the ball out of here.
Shelby looks at ball one low, so a good start in the at-bat, not too aggressive. Can't hit a home run that ties this ball game. You need Shelby on base, even though he's more known for that power. On the day already, 1 for 2 with the single and the walk. Sebic, the 1-0. Breaking ball at 80 miles an hour. Shelby was ready for the fastball, and you saw the swing resulting because of it. It evens up at 1-1 as Shelby looks on to Sebic with a little bit of disgust and confusion. So you see the fastball missed the zone. The breaking ball swung on and missed. What does he elect to bring here? The 1-1, the kick, the push. Breaking ball looked good, but according to our home plate umpire, that would be Jim Mulick. Must have missed, not sure where.
Yeah, maybe just missed below the knees. That's a really tough pitch to take. Maybe not what Shelby was looking for. Again, another off-speed pitch offering, which I wouldn't be surprised if he goes back to it here.
And there it is. Good call, Leo. You would have been able to look at that one in the dirt, as Shelby does. So can Sebic battle back for another try, as he did against Wells Jr.?
And this is a tough situation for Shelby, too. Are you taking on the 3-1 after a couple of balls in a row? Hard to really know what to do, but Shelby, a lot of experience. He's got to have a good approach.
Tried to hold back. Had Shelby, as he gives a little look back there towards the mound. That one, I mean, it was somewhat close to him, but not sure who he's more unenthused with.
Yeah.
The first base umpire, the pitcher, or himself. But either way, Sebic battles back. Shelby's brought the count full. Can the Unicorns shut down the Mammoths on this Friday night? Here it comes, the payoff pitch. Breaking ball, outside corner. Shelby somehow holds back, but that one definitely ball 4, as the Mammoths do in fact get their base runner, as coming up to the plate is Steve Pasquale.
Now, that's a great at-bat for Shelby, especially after being frustrated on the check swing call by the first base umpire there. That's a great approach for the rest of that at-bat. He wasn't looking for a particular pitch. You're looking for something in the strike zone. He didn't get it. He takes the pitch, knew it was far enough outside where he didn't have to swing. He draws the walk, and that brings out Steve Pasquale for a chance for his first hit. No better time for it with the runner on first. Takes the first pitch in there, first strike from Andre Sebic. So tough start to the season for Pasquale. 2 for 28 entering the game. 0 for 3 with a strikeout in this one.
Pasquale ready for the 0-1. Breaker missing low. Saw Pasquale kind of lunge forward with the lower half, but able to keep the hands back and not allow Sebic to get the quick 0-2 count. Sebic on the season is the only Unicorn with a 0.00 ERA, as Pasquale looks at ball 2 quickly. Just the third appearance for Sebic. Just the one hit allowed in the 2 innings. No walks, no strikeouts. The one hit he did allow was a double. But looking for his first save of the season. He joined Ty Hensley and Albert Neff. Is this one to the left side? In fact, it's finished. The Corns take this one by a final score of 6-4. The winning pitcher is, of course, Spencer Stockton. He goes to 2-1 on the season. Did allow the 1 earned run, 4 total runs in those 7 innings, but pitched well enough to keep his team in it. And the Unicorns, who put up 2 runs in that 8th inning after Stockton finished through 7, allow him to be in line for the victory. Unicorns go to 8-2 through their first 10. On the polar opposite, Mammoths 2-8 through their first 10, as this one in favor of the Unicorns. Overall, not the best night we saw from Stockton, but obviously a couple of those errors leading to runs didn't look as pretty, but he was still efficient, still did everything he could, and he was efficient, and he earned the win here tonight. Good job from Sam Cottingham-Beard and Andre Sebic, who gets his first save of the season. That's a complete pitching performance. The starter goes 7. You get your setup man in the 8th and your closer in the 9th. As for the Mammoths, they were able to string 4 runs through the first 6 innings. Had the RBI double from Ethan Whisker, and overall just not enough. Not a bad night for the Mammoths, but couldn't take complete advantage, and they lose this one by a close 2-run game. What hurts more, a big deficit or something that's, something you might have had the opportunity at?
I'd definitely say the bigger deficit hurts a lot more. It was a closer game for the Mammoths. There's definitely a lot of upside in this game as far as them offensively. Definitely have to figure out some things with the pitching. We did see the positive of Jake Davis, that left-hander coming out. He had that clean 1-2-3 inning. I believe that was the 6th or 7th inning, but that's a positive for that left-hander coming out of the pen for his USPBL debut in Jake Davis. But like you said, Spencer Stockton, maybe with not his best outing of the season, but was definitely enough to give his team a chance to win, which obviously they did. 7 innings for him with a 1 earned run. Not too shabby. He kept his team in the ballgame despite the 4 runs. A little bit shaky defensively for the Unicorns, but the Unicorns continue hitting the ball very well. Their lineup from top to bottom able to produce, Kyle Bonneke with an RBI, Jimmy Latona, and then you got guys in the bottom half of the lineup. Coleman Poge with an RBI, Austin Malpe with 2. So it's a Unicorns team that you have to pitch like you're pitching to the 1-2-3 hitters all the way down to the 9-hitter because they have been swinging the bat very well so far this season.
So overall, once again, Spencer Stockton moving to 2-1 on the season. Andre Sebek getting save number 1 on the year, but the Unicorns, the first to 10 wins on the year. It took them just the 12 games, let's try that again. They are the first to 8 wins, as they have won 8 through their first 10. But overall, it's been tremendous stuff we're seeing from the Unicorns here in this 2019 season. They are with the commanding lead through the first couple of weekends. Their weekend is all said and done. It will be Eastside tomorrow, as it'll be ESPN 3 in the house. We'll have the night off here on the YouTube channel, but tune in to ESPN 3. Neil Rule will be on the call, as we'll have some mutts going nuts in the field tomorrow, as well as Boy Scout night. So a lot of stuff going on at the park tomorrow, but this one is all said and done. Utica out in front of the Mammoths 6-4. You're watching the USPBL YouTube channel. For my broadcasting partner, Leo Ortel, my name's Rich Borland. You stay classy, Utica.